well, Manchester City having a big punishment by being out of the Champions League for 2 years. This is due to serious breaches of UEFA's club licensing and financial fair play regulations. It was between 2012 and 2016. It's believed that they're going to get fined 30 million euros, but the club are expected to appeal. And I'm delighted to be joined by Josh Lees, who was on the show a few weeks ago. Josh, welcome back to the show. But first of all, your thoughts on this, because I know you're a die-hard Man City fan. You do a bit of work at the club as well. So how do you feel about this? Are you shocked?
I'm absolutely gutted, actually. I think that's something that Pep's really missing from his time at City. He's won everything there is to win here in England, and I think the next goal for him was the Champions League. And yeah, we've got this season, but that's going to be tough against Real Madrid. So I think the hope would have been maybe next season, the season after, to give him another chance. But with this ban, it's now not looking like it's going to happen. But as a fan, it's absolutely gutting to see, because we've been in the Champions League now for probably 7 or 8 years on the bounce. So it's something that we've come accustomed to, and it's something that we're used to every single season. And to not have it will be a big hole, I think, in the season. Massive for the club as well, financially. Probably, I imagine sponsorships won't be too happy that we're not now playing Champions League football. I've seen as well something to do with Kevin De Bruyne's sponsorships. He could miss out on up to 3 million a year just for not playing in the Champions League. So it's going to have a massive knock-on effect.
I think, a lot of people go on about Man City in terms of the finance side of things, that the fines and the ban wouldn't hurt them too much, as in because of the owners, they reckon they'd be fine either way. But that's not the point, though, is it, Josh? I mean, as you say, Champions League is just that one competition City are missing out on, and Pep Guardiola, he's got demons in that competition, hasn't he? He hasn't won it in 9 years, but what's quite nice to see today from what he's been saying to his friends is that he will stay on at least until the end of his contract, which is next year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think from what I've noticed as well, especially working and being around the club, is the club has built itself around Pep Guardiola in a way. The style of play that we play has also gone right across the City football group, across all the other clubs, Melbourne, New York. They're all pushed to play the same way. And I wouldn't say that's the City way. I'd say it's the Guardiola way. Without him, we probably wouldn't play that football. So I feel like the club is massively based around him. So I'd like him to stay on past that contract. I mean, there's no one else out there in world football that I would take over Guardiola. People have been talking about Pochettino potentially. Even Arteta's had the mention every now and then, but there's nobody out there apart from Guardiola. So it's quite reassuring to say that he's going to stick around, regardless of how the ban turns out.
I guess I think this is why I'd love to see Guardiola stay at City, not just because of English football, but also for the club. Just because I feel as though, the guy's proven himself, there's no doubt about it, but if he was to stick with Man City, this is a manager that hasn't actually been at a club for a long period. So for him to at least stay for another year and then hopefully expand that, I think it could just show that home for Pep Guardiola is in Manchester.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It seems that he's gone away around it a bit differently to his time at Bayern Munich. It feels like Bayern Munich was just going to be a pit stop for him, and obviously he always wanted to manage in the Premier League. It was always on the cards that he was going to come. I mean, half of our board used to be the board back at FC Barcelona when he was there.
Yeah.
I think it was always the plan for Pep to come, and I think there's always a plan for him to stick around. I think that might be trophy dependent as well. I mean, we're absolutely lucky to have done what we've done over the last couple of years. His first year maybe didn't go to plan, but then that second season when he blew everyone away, and even last season winning 4 major trophies was huge. So I feel like a lot of people have been put off just because of how far behind Liverpool we are, but you can't forget what the guy's done.
Yeah.
He's absolutely revolutionised our club, and I'd love to see him stay on past his contract and for years to come. Build a bit of a dynasty just as Fergie did.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's put Man City on the map. Of course, they were doing well in Europe even before Pep arrived. But as you say, what Pep has done trophy-wise, he's completely changed the club for the greatness. I was with you for a bit as a tour guide with you, and even as a United fan, the positivity around the stadium it's just incredible. It's just a lovely place to work at the moment. Obviously, when it's a winning team, obviously the buzz is around the stadium. But I must admit, Josh, I was gutted for the club just because I know people who work there and they don't want to hear news like that. But what are your thoughts on the board side of things? I mean, are you a bit disappointed with the people who have been responsible for it?
No, I'm not. I mean, I might be biased. I've not actually looked into too much detail of what we breached, what we did wrong. I know it was between 2012 and 2016. Of course, we did win a lot. We did spend a lot of money. But I always work by the basis that if you want to win things in football, you've got to spend money.
Yeah.
You look at all the big clubs; they've all spent big money. Even United and Liverpool, of course, they've got the big history, but they've still spent money to get where they are. And the only difference that City are missing probably is that extra revenue that's made by merchandise, ticket sales, fans across the world. City are on the way, but that's why I still think they're a bit below Liverpool and United, and I suppose that's what we've missed, and that's how we fell into this breach of financial fair play, really. But in terms of the board, not a bad word to say about them, because as well as Pep, they've worked so hard to turn our club to what it is today, so I've not got a bad word to say about them. And CEO Ferran has apparently said to the team that he's very confident it's going to get turned over, the ban, and he's going to win the appeal. Whether he's right or not, I know, but I suppose you can only go off that, and you can only back the board, really, in my opinion.
Of course, as you say, that there is the appeal. So, really, we could talk about this. Then, in a month's time or so, it could be completely forgotten if that was to turn around. You never know. I mean, it's happened before. We've seen big punishments in any sport where it's been turned around. So you just never know in the world of sport. But also, I was talking to you the other day about this. Am I right thinking that you're going to the away leg in Madrid?
I was going, but sadly not anymore. The home leg will be. For the home game, I'm hoping we've still got a result going into that.
Yeah.
If we can go to the Bernabeu, definitely. If we score a goal, I'll be definitely confident. If we can get a result there, bring something back to the Etihad, that atmosphere is going to be absolutely pumping, in my opinion, especially with all that's gone on.
Yeah,
it gives the fans a chance to voice their opinion to UEFA, and how they do that and how they go about it. Who knows? I mean, we've had the booing in the past, and I imagine that's not going to go away anytime soon. Last couple of years, it has died down quite a bit, but after what happened this week, I imagine you will not be able to hear the Champions League anthem at the Etihad Stadium. Come that game, that's for sure.
Well, Zinedine Zidane, the Real Madrid manager, even said that he's a bit nervous going up against Man City because of what's happened in the background. And if anything, Pep Guardiola will be really pumped to try and win it this season, because let's be honest, the Premier League's done and dusted. The FA Cup is, I'm not saying he shouldn't go for it, but he's won it before. And of course, the League Cup, there's only one more match to go in that, which of course he'll go all the way with that. That's for sure. If Aston Villa don't turn up that day, of course. But you could look at it and think that that's where the motivation is for Pep to finally get his hands on a European Cup after 9 years. And for you, Josh, it'll certainly make you feel a bit weird thinking we might not be in this competition next season, regardless if we win it or not.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a strange one, but it'd be something I'd happily take, honestly. It's the one that's missing. It's the one that's got away. And you'll speak to some City fans, some especially the older generation, and they'll say they don't really care about Europe. Blah blah blah. They'd rather win the domestic trophies. That's so wrong. The Champions League's the pinnacle of football. Once you've won that, then you're set for such a long time. You get teams like Villa, Nottingham Forest. That when they've played City in the past, I always think, oh, where's your European Cup? Chelsea like to remind us, Liverpool, United. So we need to get into that elite group. And if we did it this season, it'd be fantastic. Even if we did the banded stay, it'd be fantastic just to give a nice sort of message to UEFA that we're not going anywhere anytime soon, if you're going to ban us or not.
Absolutely. Imagine the UEFA president giving the trophy to Pep Guardiola or the captain of Man City at the end of the season. That'll be
that is a sight I would be very, very happy to see.